Hello, it's a quick one from me, and it will be quick because I've got to go home and tot some scores up, and I still feel like, well, unalive, basically. It's the next day. It's the day after the end of the 24-hour live stream driving challenge combined thing, and I just wanted to come on and say thank you to everyone who took part. I'll do proper video later on. I have in my head the kind of video I want to make, but I don't know if I'm going to have time to do it. But I wanted to come on and say thank you to everyone who did it, everyone who took part, all the contestants, the team I had here, all the donators, everyone who donated, whether you donated £1,000 or you donated £1, whatever. Thank you for doing it. I'm going to leave the Just Giving page running for another. Well, it'll be until after payday, put it that way. So we'll do it till November. The target was set high. It is a high target. The last 2 years, we've gone in with, well, the first year went in not knowing what the target was going to be, and then just kept getting surprised and bumping it up. And then last year, we thought, okay, we've got a rough idea of how this goes, and we were bumping it up on engine CCs, if you remember. This year, I didn't do that because I thought I'm not necessarily, don't know if I'm going to have time to do that kind of thing. So we basically just went in, it was me, wasn't it? Basically went in really high and said, right, that's what I want to do. That's the target. That's what I want to hit. I'm not going to move the goalposts. I'm not going to go, oh, we've hit it. Right, okay, let's just bump it a bit more and try and bleed a bit more, squeeze a bit more. No, it was like, no, we hit that, and that is mission successful. So at the moment, we haven't hit it. We have broken last year, which was my minimum aim, was to break last year. So I'm delighted with that. It would be amazing to break the 20 grand barrier. We are less than £2,000 away from it. So we're realistically, we're not that far off. And the overall target is 24,000 to help this amazing charity. As I'm speaking to you right now, Charlotte from that charity who came in on the Saturday night is in London somewhere attending Pride of Britain Awards, because she got nominated round here and won round here. We got selected and has been sent up to compete with 17 other people for overall fundraiser of the year for the country. So that just goes to show what kind of level this is getting to. Now, the recognition they're getting is brilliant because the work they're doing is immense, and the teams on the weekend help people, or help the charity to continue with that work, with these deliveries they were making to different hospitals and things. There is a lot to go through. I'm basically going to recount the scores from the night because I completely underestimated how difficult that was going to be, to the point I feel like I've stitched people up a little bit. Not the teams necessarily, more the people who were here, because that was fraught. That was crazy, and I can't imagine what it was like in the cars. Honestly, I can't. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. It's been difficult to go back to a normal day today. I booked a job in today, and I'm still feeling like rough as anything, thanks to some of the boxes from the takeaway in there. I think we might have had a bout of food poisoning kick in just to spice things up. Been doing some suspension on a TVR Chimera today. Probably a little bit slower than I normally would. So I'm going to have to readdress his bill a little bit, but I'm not sort of trying to give it the old violin. It was difficult. That was difficult. The first year I did it, 2022, 24-hour live stream. It was difficult because the technology played up, but in terms of how difficult it was as a personal challenge, it was kind of roughly what I thought it was going to be. It would have been easier if the technology hadn't let me down. And I think it was actually Steph who I was supposed to speak to at 5 in the morning in 2022. And I didn't get a guest until about 7 when Alex rocked up with the breakfast, which he didn't do this time because he's raising money for his own charity. Scumbag. So yeah, that year wasn't too bad. Last year, I'm not being blasé about it. Last year I thought was actually quite easy. Like, it really wasn't that difficult. To the point we were doing dyno runs at the end of it. 25 hours we did last year. And I was doing dyno runs at the end of it. It was made easier by the fact that Ian came down and helped me out, and we had moderators in the chat. It worked a lot smoother. The guests were great last year. I mean, they were good the first year, but last year the guests were absolutely spot on. And I went into it this year thinking, well, we've knocked back the guests a little bit. It's going to be a bit harder, but we'll make it work. We'll muddle through it. And that was tough. That was really, really difficult. We had a team here of, Ian came down. Ian was here at the start of the stream, He slept for about an hour and a half in the back of a Dacia that was supposed to have a sleeping kit, but didn't have a sleeping kit, but still came down anyway, despite the fact he was filled with lurgy, because he lives in Wales and he's always full of lurgy. And he basically did the same amount I did, because I got ill at about 8 o'clock or something like that, and I went to lay down. I went for a walk. I even ran while that, like, about 7 o'clock, I was outside running, trying to, like, get going again. I think I was pacing up and down here for half an hour. I can't remember much of it. And I went outside to get some air, and I stuck my coat on, and I opened the C6 up, and I thought, I'm just going to lay in the C6 for a minute. And I got woken up by Ian. And I think it must have been about an hour and a half later or something. I didn't think I'd slept. You know that thing where you think, I haven't fallen asleep, but maybe I had. Yeah, it was just bonkers, absolutely bonkers. And of course, Steve came down at 10, roughly, maybe 9:30 in his Jag. I didn't know he had one. I thought he was coming down in a Clio. So he came down in his Jag, and he was going pretty much with us non-stop. So basically, the three of us were the presenters. So for all the times Hub Nut has said, I wouldn't do a 24-hour live stream, I wouldn't, it's crazy. He pretty much did. He pretty much did. Well, no. Apart from the setting up and everything like that, he did, on the day, on the event, he did as much as me. He genuinely did. If anything, he might have done more, because he danced in front of the board here, which I made Friday night at the last minute, threw that together. I'm going to use that. I'm going to keep that for the channel. Yeah, he was dancing and all sorts, trying to raise money. Apparently, I was doing handbrake turns outside, and I'd forgotten I'd done one of them until I saw a video earlier on whatever it is now, Twitter, X. Don't know. It'll be blocked next week when I won't be able to use it, unless you pay. So, yeah, I don't remember a lot of it, and I'm rambling now, so I'm going to try not to, but I just wanted to come on, acknowledge that I'm still here, and I'm so grateful for what everyone's done. I'm so grateful for the memories, because there's some class memories I've got. I mean, just watching on a map, Team Classics World and Mid-Rise Crisis, I think, arriving at the Channel Tunnel together, having gone off completely different ways, been to different hospitals, doing different tasks, going to car showrooms, trying to empty JM's wallet, which 4 of the teams have managed to do. He has been informed, by the way, he is delighted that the teams managed to do it. That's what he said. I think he is delighted, but he's probably like, I'm delighted. Brilliant. So yeah, they went round, they did what they had to do. And then they both arrived at the tunnel at about the same time, in the same queue almost. We're sort of on the phone to them going, look behind you, look out the back window, is there a Merc there? And I think Classics World get pulled into customs because they're in an old Merc. Probably not the reason, but we like to think it's the reason. And then Status Slow arrived not long after and got held up because there was some kind of glitch. So all that meticulous planning that Matt had done came undone because there was a glitch with the tunnel when they got there. And all 3 of them ended up in Germany, in completely different parts. And then I think one of the teams, I can't even remember what happened. The Skoda went to the Nürburgring, but ended up in Hanover. The Impreza went somewhere else, almost near Hanover or somewhere, and ended up at the Nürburgring. And then the Merc went off to Berlin, and then came back again, and then ended up in Stuttgart. So, I mean, it's not just it went into Germany. It didn't just cross the border and go, we're in Germany now. They've pretty much done, short of going right up the top corner. I mean, I was like, they got across the border into Poland, surely. They're so close. But it was just bonkers. And then the guys who stayed in the UK. I mean, the ironic thing is we were on about penalising Jurassic Pork for bringing a car into it that was outside the regs. As it came to it, right, the regs didn't matter. That's one of the things I've learned from this. The regs didn't matter because, well, not mainly because, like, you can only drive so far, and some people had said that in the chat so far, and I find it hard to get into that zone because I'm someone who gets in a car, and unless I need a wee, I don't stop. I'll just go and go and go. Or unless I'm driving Vecchi up to Doncaster with a trailer on the back towing. Yeah, I stopped a few times for that just to regain my consciousness. But yeah, I barely stop. But other people do. I didn't expect them to stop for a harvester. yeah, I wasn't expecting that one. And Team 3 Amp Egos, I think one of the guys got sick or something like that, or maybe he had some of the pizza we had. He got sick, or there was something, I couldn't figure out why, but they ended up dropping down to 2 Amp Egos. But every time we spoke to them, they were remarkable chipper spirits. It was brilliant. And they managed near, well, they were not far off the same number of miles that the C5 managed, which was the car we were saying, oh, it's got a massive range, it's got a trick, you know, it's a cheat code. And the electric car nearly did the same thing. So the electric car did what I wanted it to do. It dispelled some myths. Not entirely. We learned some new things about electric cars, well, I did. I'll visit them all in a proper video. It's going to end up being some massive thing. I don't know when it's going to come out. It'll probably be, I'll have to script it. It'll probably come out in a couple of weeks or something like that. But I just wanted to get in quickly now and just say thank you to everybody. Thank you to everyone who donated. If you can donate more, please do. If you can spread the love, please do. It's an amazing charity. It really is an amazing charity. We've got more things to do as well. I have got an original JM. Hold on. There were some things that were supposed to happen during the stream which didn't because we were just chaotic. I still have the original JM. This never even got auctioned off. So how are we going to auction that? Are we going to do a live, do you think? Or shall I put it on eBay? Or shall we just put the picture up and submit blind bids? What do you think? Maybe we should just do a live stream, but just the auction. So we're not going to sit and gas. We're just going to go bid for the JM. I will frame it. I will frame it. So yeah, we've got one of them. I didn't carve a pumpkin in the end. Yeah, it was just bonkers. Didn't make the trophy either. It was just, I think the food poisoning really pushed it to the limit. But even without that, it would have been absolutely crazy. I can safely say, hand on heart, how we did that this year, I'm not doing that again because it was just silly. I wouldn't do that again. We might in the future maybe do a different version of it. I think the streaming for 24 hours, the driving for 24 hours, the challenge, everything like that, I think there's legs in that. I think that works. But having one person stream for 24 hours during that, no. Not when you're working out all these live scores. We had a huge amount of challenges, probably too many. Yeah, you learn, don't you, by trying to do it. So I think if it happens again, we will try and think of ways we can make it more entertaining, look at it and think what went well, what didn't, and go from there. But yeah, for now, I just want to get in and say thank you, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you did the whole thing, what should we write in the comment? Put something in the comments. If you did the whole thing, write DS24 or hashtag DS24, Drive for Sophie 24, in capitals OG. OG. If you did the whole thing, and we'll see how many people actually stayed up for the entire thing. So before I go, I have to give an extended thanks to Ian, who came down and co-presented the whole thing, basically. If anything, he might have been on camera more than me. I really don't know. He did amazingly well. Considering he was not well, he's absolutely, he's a G, and I owe him for that. And also Steve. Steve came down, a few hours into it, but didn't stop, and then went straight home after. I mean, guy's a machine. So yeah, they came down, and as far as presenting goes, John, Auto Shenanigans, he came down, and he came down as a guest, but ended up hanging around till the end of it. He came down off his own back, his own cost. He wasn't down here filming a video on something. He wasn't filming another video on Lymington. He came down specifically for that. So yeah, well done to him. Fair play to him. Thank you. And then behind the scenes, you had Ashley doing the communications, trying to make sense of the points and everything like that. She was looking a bit frazzled at times. And in fairness, looking back at it now, there were better ways we could have done that. But you don't know until you try it. So for a first effort, we succeeded. We did complete it. It's not like we had to abandon it because it didn't work. And my wife, Nat, who just came down, helped me set everything up, got me out of bed the morning of the event because I didn't want to, and was not feeling it at all. Got me through, pushed me up, propped me up the whole way through it, brought supplies, bought a new kettle, condemned some of my cutlery, cleaned the toilet, because we had women here, and yeah, just kept me going throughout the whole thing, and then stayed and assisted production until like later on with sort of gave Ashley a break, let her go off and have a nap. You know, it's just, she wasn't supposed to do that. And then she went home, came back the next day when she saw I wasn't well, brought her laptop to do uni work in the background while it was going on and try and help. And obviously, I imagine she wrote about 3 words. So yeah, couldn't have done it without her. And then lastly, we couldn't have done it without the mods, because and I say mods, moderators in the chat, because we had Miss Hubnut, Carly, absolutely bossing it in the chat. Honestly, she's someone you want on your side. If you're doing anything like this, you're organising something, you're trying to put something on, you're trying to keep people entertained or keep people connected. Yeah, what a driving force. Seriously, absolutely unreal in the chat. And some of that money that's in the chat, that's in the total for Just Giving is as much down to her as anyone else, anyone in the cars, me, anyone here. Because she will have kept posting that link, and eventually someone would have clicked on that link based on what she said and donated. So well done to her, and well done to Katie as well, Wrenching Wench Katie, who, to be honest, I forgot was a mod until she arrived, and I thought, oh, Katie's in the chat. Oh, she's got a spanner next to her name. Oh, she's a mod. That's really good, because we actually only had one and we needed more. And she stepped up despite not actually having officially been asked to do it, and did an amazing job. You know, like she did last time. So, yeah, that's really your team. The team that was at this end. We'll see, you know, who actually wins it. But everyone who's done it, everyone who's taken part really is a winner. You know, for all those guys. And then you've got, well, let's try and remember names. God, here we go. Before I go, let's remember names. We got, in the Skoda, we had Matt. We had, oh, God, I'm so bad with names. Chris? In the chat, in the Skoda. Oh, and we had the Pond, not Tony Pond, the fast Pond. Alpine driving gloves came on, and the Skoda got a thrashing through Belgium. We saw, as soon as the Pond hit the wheel in the Skoda, we thought it's going to be on the Skoda now. This is going to be the winner. Classics World, you had Joe, you had Lewis, you had Jeff. You had in the mid-race car, the Impreza, which, fair play to the Impreza, it proved the doubters, me being one of them, wrong. It only broke down, in fact, when they were doing 130 on the Autobahn, flat out, and it blew a boost pipe off. So it was repaired on the side of the road, and they continued. Yeah, that was John and Adam and Marv, I think. And then in the Egos car, we had, oh no, I don't actually know the name of the Egos guys. No, I know 2 of them. So obviously Matt, Baz, big guy with the beard, jolly. How he was so chipper, I don't know. I think he was the guy who got them onto the track at an unknown racetrack near Andover. And the other fellow who got ill, I don't know his name. I never actually met him or saw him in the chat. But thank you for doing the bits you did. And then lastly, you had Jurassic Pork, which was James, who got the car together, Steph, I Drive a Classic, and last minute substitution, Freddie, our other half, who probably thought, I really don't want to go and do that, but got dragged down to do it because Craig, I think, who was going to do it originally, was unwell. So hopefully he's okay now. I imagine he probably watched that and went, yeah, no, I'm happy with the cold, to be honest. I don't think I'd have done. So yeah, fair play to everyone who took part. Well done. Yeah, you've all done brilliantly. The total's still going up. Links in the description. Hit it. This has gone on too long. I'm going home. Bye.